Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 295. What's up, Doc? This is for Friday, March 22nd, 2024 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Yes, we shall. I'd love to tell everybody we got a really big show for you today, but we got a really little show for you. Actually, we got a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, maybe one of the slowest news weeks in recent memory in the world of Zoho. I think we've got three news stories, so it'll be an expedient CRM Zen show here for today.
Well, the news portion, I'm feeling this is an opportunity for me to try out. I've been working on some new comedy routines, and some bits. I'll kind of try those out. We actually have some great stuff to talk about
here on the CRM Zen show today. Kind of an open mic vibe here on the CRM Zen show.
Open mic, hang out, kind of go through it, just walk up, try your new stuff out, see where it goes. You know, how can you tell if an elephant has been in your refrigerator?
I don't know how.
By the footprints in the butter. See, there you go. That's
nice job, Freddie.
Told to me by one of my children many, many, many years ago. Anyway, still an oldie, but not really that good. Anyway, we do have a decent amount of stuff to cover on non-Zoho news, so we'll go through that. But before we do, let's have a word from our sponsors.
Are you looking into starting a podcast? Or maybe just need some help putting it all together so you could focus on your voice telling your story? Introducing Podcaster Zen. From audio podcasts to video to live streaming a show, we do it all. Head over to podcasterzen.com for more info on how we can help you share your message with the world. Are you struggling to get your team trained in using Zoho effectively? Considering the hefty costs of team meetings and onboarding sessions dedicated to Zoho training, there has to be an easier way. Say hello to efficiency with our Zoho team training courses. Zoho CRM made easy. Become a project management pro, top-tier customer support, and maximize your marketing impact. Are you ready to equip your team? Start today at zenatta.com/training and let us lead the way. This episode of the CRM Zen Show is brought to you by ZPortals. ZPortals is a must-have extension allowing you to effortlessly coordinate with clients and partners. We configure ZPortals all the time for our clients who are looking for the best portal solution. And boy, do we love how easy it is to customize and the flexibility to connect to multiple Zoho apps. So don't wait. Check out ZPortals today and be sure to mention Zenatta to get 10% off your first month.
Junk data can clog up your CRM, making it harder to focus on the records that matter. Next thing you know, you've got a mountain of records to sort through, and you're not even sure where to start. This is why we created the Zenatta Health Check for Zoho CRM. This extension reads your Zoho CRM's users, leads, deals, accounts, contacts, and tasks data, and provides you with a monthly summary straight to your inbox of some of the key indicators of data quality for these core modules. With the Zenatta Health Check, you'll get notified in your monthly report whether or not you have unused Zoho CRM licenses, or if you have contacts missing email addresses, or accounts with no associated contact. In addition, you'll get links to helpful videos and blogs from the Zenatta Resource Library showing you how you can clean up your system and keep it clean. We also include buttons on each of the core modules that let you generate your health check report whenever you need it. The Zenatta Health Check for Zoho CRM. A clean system is a better system. Download today on the Zoho Marketplace.
All righty, Tyler. Well, we don't have any announcements this week, I don't believe, but we do have a lot of events to talk about. Over on at Zenatta, we have got in March, we're wrapping it up. We've just got one more CRM Zen show to do. But next month, Tyler, you and I are going to sit down and record the, I don't know how long this is going to be, but it's going to be very long is my guess. It's going to be going through every single Zoho One application, all of them, one by one by one. letting you know where they fall in our resource library, whether they're a yes, a no, or a maybe, which we've actually a rest, maybe, no. We've now changed it to definitely, probably, and maybe.
Maybe, yeah, definitely, probably, maybe.
Probably, maybe, yes. And by the way, definitely's are 99% of the time is going to be great for you. It's, best in class. And then the probablys are, it's got a couple things that, might not work, but probably for 80% of the companies is going to be a pretty good fit. And then the maybes are, reverse all of that. For 80% of the companies, it's not going to work, but maybe for a small 20%, that application will work. And we change that all the time. And this is actually a great show for us because before the show, we kind of got to go through and really dive into everything. And although the marketing team and the entire Zenatta team is constantly saying, hey, this app needs to be moved up or moved down and the whole thing, it's kind of good for us at least once a year to go through them all. Last time we did this was just for Zoho 1. It was January 2023. It was an hour and 30 minutes. Let's see if we can,
Yeah, we're thinking of going outside of Zoho 1 this year just because Zoho has started rolling out a couple applications outside of that licensing, right? Things like Zoho Voice, things like Zoho FSM, Trainer Central. So we didn't want to leave those out. We kind of realized like in a lot of these previous ones, those types of apps just weren't getting covered in the overview. As Zoho starts to do that a little more, we wanted to switch up the format here. So be sure to tune in. We'll be giving our thoughts really across the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We probably need to block that off on our calendar here sometime soon.
Good idea.
So we get that thing done. And then in May, Zoho data prep full product tutorial. Say what?
Yep, on the list. Overdue, honestly. We've had a lot of interest in that one. So, thanks for everyone's patience. We're getting that one scheduled.
Fantastic. Have we decided what we're doing in June yet? We have not. Anyway,
not quite yet.
To be announced. Stay tuned. And over on the Zoho side of things, this really caught my eye, but Zoho is going to be doing, I clipped all the way through here, decode user intent and behavior patterns with Zoho PageSense session recording. Now, internally and sometimes on the show, we talk about PageSense because it's a really interesting app. It is, I believe, in our maybe category, right?
I think it's all the way down in the maybe. Yep.
It's all the way down in maybe because nothing ever happens with this application. I mean, it has literally been stagnant forever, but they are actually going to talk on this show about their roadmap, where they're going to take it. So that may mean that they have maybe put one developer on PageSense now or something. I don't know. But if you don't know PageSense, it's kind of this really weird Swiss Army knife kind of application that sits on your website. It is supposed to do things like, you can do A/B testing of pages. You can do page recording where you actually can watch a person moving around and see how they react on your page. You can do form abandonment. There's just
maps, scroll maps. Yeah, a lot of features. The way to think about it is like Sales IQ will give you really granular data about each individual visitor to the site. PageSense gives you a lot more aggregate data. On average, how are users interacting with different pages? And some of the features, like you mentioned, A/B testing, that's an important thing for web optimization, right? Being able to say like, hey, show option A and option B and count up how many people submit the form, right? Assuming that we want them to submit that form. So this will be an interesting one, well worth tuning into. I think some of our challenges with it are just that it doesn't always do the thing that you tell it to do, right? You kind of set up an A/B test and say, put 50% of the traffic in path B. You'll walk away, come back a week later, and it's put 4 or 5 people into path B. It's like, well, that's not 50%. Hopefully they're going to circle back around to this app and give us some love. It'd be nice to see.
I would hope so. I mean, it also does pop-ups. So, hey, subscribe to my newsletter. It's got all kinds of really cool stuff, but it just hasn't been, like I say, hasn't been. So I'm excited. I'm actually going to tune in this just to see what the roadmap is, because I would love for that app to move up the ladder on, in our rankings, because it does have a lot of potential. And as always, you can find all of this information over all the events over at Club Zenatta. That is our online community. We would love it if you would join and participate. We've got thousands of people. They're answering questions. They're talking about Zoho. They're talking about various apps. You can come in here and ask questions. You can sing your praises of an app. You can complain. You can do whatever. Our staff is in there as well. It's a great place to talk about Zoho and learn more about Zoho. It's also where we keep crazy things like things we noticed, just random stuff that no one ever talked about. You can drop that in there. Also, all the news we talk about on the show, all through the week, that's all put in there. So you can see all of the different applications or things we may or may not be talking about. You can ask questions for the Ask Zenatta Anything About Zoho team, the Azaz team. And if you're one of the lucky people, it's either be answered in here or it'll be answered on an actual Azaz Q&A where we go through and we tell you what, we kind of go through that in detail. You can request a video that you want us to do. Talk about marketplace apps you're loving. There's a whole bunch of really, really, really cool stuff over at Club Zenatta. That's club.zenatta.com. All we ask is your email. We're not going to sell it to anybody. All you're going to get is our newsletter, which you will get every single week, which contains all of the news we talked about on the show, plus things we didn't talk about that just didn't make the show. So please subscribe to our newsletter as well. And with that, let's get into the news. All righty. News story 1 of 3. Changes in the X API to support Zoho Social. Anyway, X has recently announced that they will be discontinuing some of the API-supported features in the newer API version, and it is going to change some things if you are using Zoho Social. I think, Tyler, you mentioned earlier, probably the coolest thing that I want to give Zoho kudos for here is they didn't say X, formerly known as Twitter. They just went straight into it.
I think it's the first time. Yeah, it's the first time that I've seen it not called X, formerly known as Twitter. So important note with this, like these changes that we're going to go through would be the case with any social media management tool. These are changes to the X API. So this isn't like social decided, no, we're not going to do this anymore. This is X has been going through some cost cutting, if you followed that story, and supporting less API endpoints cuts cost. And so some of these things are going to go away. So things like choosing a thumbnail image for a video, you're no longer going to be able to do that through any social media management tool. It's not going to be able to suggest hashtags that are trending currently in your location. You're not going to be able to list or access subscriptions to lists. You won't be able to delete DMs or block a user / mark that user as spam. And lastly, you're not going to be able to update your cover image, kind of like your profile image, inside of X, at least not via Zoho Social. So some of these things will just have to be natively on X itself.
And there is the goal of this. They want more people on X. They don't want people using third-party tools doing it. So, that whole...
Good news is, I guess here, they did sneak in a little positive at the bottom. One thing that did update about the X API that's good is that we can now publish longer videos directly to X. So it looks like, up to 10 minutes long, publishing through third-party platforms. One little silver lining there, as some of the endpoints are going away, but those resources are going to get allocated to what X thinks are more important endpoints. If you're using Zoho Social or do a lot of Twitter or X marketing, be sure to, update your processes accordingly.
Yep. I think Elon's one of the smartest guys in the world, but buying this platform was probably not a great idea.
About negative what, like 35 billion in value so far based on that purchase price. Nonetheless,
42 billion to drop on something. X was not
probably not. Yeah, not Twitter.
No, but I do love his cars, and I love his little rocket ships. So got all that going on. It's a good thing. Anyway, moving on. News story number 2 of 3. Let's talk about that. This is actually long and detailed, but a lot of people in the States don't really use WhatsApp. But I will tell you, if you are anywhere in Latin America, so, this is a big app. South America, Central America, Mexico, which is part of North America, but either way, that whole thing. I mean, I'm down in Mexico all the time, down in Latin America all the time, and every single one of my contacts is on WhatsApp. and everybody is on WhatsApp. It's kind of cool because it's like, your default instant messaging, default phone calls, default everything. It's that, going back to X, Elon wants to make that one app that does everything, that you can do payments, you can do everything. It already exists. It's called WhatsApp. That's kind of out there. We don't use it here. I love the thing. I wish everybody in the United States used WhatsApp. It's a great app, but there is WhatsApp for business, and it actually allows you to conduct e-commerce and do a variety of things. And anyway, this is a deep integration with Zoho Marketing Automation, which is Zoho's marketing campaign tool that ties into virtually everything. We believe it's replacing campaigns. The writing seems to finally be on the wall here 5 years out.
And this is another dot on that trend line of campaigns getting kind of phased out. This is not rolling out for campaigns. Maybe we'll in the future, but right now this is rolling out only for Zoho Marketing Automation. So you're starting to see that, right? You're starting to see that less and less news. If you were to track the CRM Zen Show over time and the number of stories, right, about these different apps, it seems like marketing automation is where a lot of these new features are landing. Like Brett mentioned, this is a big one. I mean, like in the US, we've seen a big growth in like SMS marketing. But like you're talking about outside of the US, much less common. So WhatsApp is going to be one of those primary tools that you'll use to do these types of campaigns. And so really it's a whole builder, right? You're building templates. It's basically most of the functionality around emails can just be done via WhatsApp. I guess one of the cool things here, if you scroll up just a little, that I didn't even know about WhatsApp, right there, this image. It looks like because it's not a text, right? It's not just an SMS going out. You can kind of format it with like a little banner image and like some HTML, and it kind of comes over like a card, kind of like a click card or like a card on Slack for anyone who uses those. So it's almost in a way like nicer than an SMS because it looks like more of a campaign, right? You've got more control over the content that's included.
Yeah, it is such a cool app. I mean, I like it anyway. I'm probably one of the few Americans that ever uses it in any. So I mean, you just have to be in a country where they use it, but it's kind of nice because everyone's on. Yeah, it does a lot. Is it owned by Facebook?
Yes, owned by Meta.
It is. Yeah. Good purchase on their part.
Very good purchase.
Yeah, but there is a whole lot you can do, and this integration is just really slick, man.
Yeah, it looks very robust.
They have gone, because I have a feeling this is WhatsApp really big over in India as well. Maybe, probably is.
Not sure.
Maybe.
I'm not 100% sure. Actually, yeah.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Kudos to the marketing automation team. So they have done a whole lot here. So the pricing on this is, very similar.
It is big in India. Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, it's very big in India. WhatsApp has about 2 billion monthly active users in total. India makes up 400 million of those 2 billion monthly active users. So yes, to answer your question, very big in India. That is a huge user base. That's like the entirety of the US is a monthly active user in India of WhatsApp.
So anyway, exceptionally long article here. I would highly suggest you read it. The pricing on this is going to be kind of on a per message basis. Not horrible. You're going to send out, 10,000 messages is going to cost you 125 API credits because Zoho has moved to an API credit thing now. So it used to be you were kind of buying individual everythings, right? I got to buy how many emails do I want, how many text messages. So now you got API credits. My guess is an API credit scale. So you're buying, if you're sending 10,000 messages, it's going to cost you 125 API credits, which is $250 which would make API credits $2 a piece, I guess. But there are 20 cents a piece at that range. 20 cents.
Yeah.
Right. 20 cents. No, it's 11. Yes. 2 cents. Is that correct? 2 cents.
That's 2 cents a message.
Now,
yeah.
Math is hard early in the morning. Anyway, so it's 2.5 cents for one. And as you get up there, it starts to, it's just 2.5 cents across the board. They never really ever change it. It's 2.5 cents an API credit. It just never changed. So there is no volume discount. But anyway, So it's going to be tied into just your general marketing automation API credits, and which makes it easy because if you're buying API credits, you're just adding them in. And that is cool. I believe we are this close internally from switching over from Zoho campaigns to marketing automation. I know we're on the cusp. Is that correct?
Yep.
Right here.
So if we ever miss one of our weekly newsletters, you know why.
Yep. And news article number 3, wrapping it all up here today. This one is weird. Here's what we think. So Marketing Plus is a bundle of applications in the marketing suite. It's its own separate Zoho bundle. One of the things it includes is the ability, if you are a marketing agency, is it called Studio?
They call it Brand Studio, and it's kind of, to be honest, it's kind of its own app. It's like its own little app, and it's like snuck only into Marketing Plus. Maybe is it in CRM Plus or no? I don't think it is.
I don't think so. No, and it allows you to manage basically multiple clients, multiple brands, and you can do those kind of things. So it looks like this is another kind of interesting thing. So one of the things that doesn't come in Marketing Plus, here's kind of the apps here. You get Brand Studio, Campaign, Social, Marketing Automation, Survey, Page Sense, Webinar, Backstage, and Analytics. You don't get projects. So what they've decided is, if you're doing you're running a marketing campaign for a firm, you've got a lot of different things you're going to be doing. Maybe you would want to have a place to manage that product or that project and go through it. So they built a kind of a little whole project management tool inside of Marketing Plus to allow you to put timelines, roll it out, what's happening, who's on it, who's doing what, the entire thing. So it's kind of your own, marketing projects that you can keep in here, and they can work. I like this because there are a lot of people, that buy this. They're just a market. They're doing it. Perfect.
Yeah, kind of a nice little stopgap so that you don't have to go outside for a planning tool, right? Like you've already got your whole marketing team in here, hypothetically. Just being able to go ahead and spin up a project and get it started, track all the activities. It's basically kind of task-based, right? And what you'll see is if you click in, you're on the page right there. It's funny. So basically what you're doing, right, when you plan these out is you're saying, like, we're going to run an email campaign as an activity. We're going to run a survey. We're going to host a webinar. So a lot of the things that you're planning are kind of these are based on the applications that are included inside of Marketing Plus. Then you also have the ability to do like a to-do list, right? So you've got the two different things that you're planning, either like a marketing activity or a to-do list leading into that marketing activity. Looking at the UI, it looks like it's lifted from Zoho projects, kind of like you were alluding to there. You've even got the ability to create like documents inside of a marketing project. So again, just like Zoho projects. Good idea. I like this, especially for those people who might only be using Marketing Plus inside of Zoho and don't have a different way to track projects.
Have we done a Marketing Plus overview? Might be interesting to do that.
Yeah, it could be.
Advantages of it. Cool. Anyway, kudos to the entire marketing team over there and the Marketing Plus. Nice little enhancement. And with that, Tyler, let's get to the implementation of the week.
All right. So this one was built out by Lucas and JP on the Zenatta team. And this is essentially creating records in CRM via adding a button to an email. So within CRM, those who've used it for a while will be familiar that any email that you're sending either from CRM or from your inbox, like Gmail or Outlook, you can integrate all of those directly into CRM, and they will store underneath the appropriate contact or lead, and then roll up to deals and accounts and other records that are inside of Zoho. So in this case, basically the request from the client was that some types of emails that come in contain like actionable information, like an improvement we want to make to a SaaS product or a support item that might apply to many different people. And we kind of want to create it more as like a work item than we would as like a desk ticket. And so what we did is essentially set up a custom button which lives on the emails related list, where pressing that button can actually go ahead and create a record. So those buttons have access to any of the data that's in that email, like subject line, when it was sent, and who sent it. So using that data, we can go ahead and add a button that will create what we're calling like a work item, using the subject line of that email as the name of the work item, associating that work item back to the original contact that sent the email, as well as the related account to that contact. So I like to highlight this one really just for the reason that I sometimes even forget that we can add buttons on the email related list. You can add them to the list itself where you would like click it without having to open an email. You can also add them like directly to the thread of the email and just trigger a custom function as you're looking through an email thread. So I thought I would highlight this just as kind of a fun example of turning an email into something actionable with a status, a due date, that can actually be worked in CRM without having to manually type anything, copy, paste, do anything like that. Just using a tool that, again, even me, as much as I work with Zoho every single day, sometimes I forget that you can do little things like this.
Really,
and I thought
cool.
it would be a nice demo. Yeah.
So can you add custom buttons to every related list?
Yeah, pretty much any related list. I'm sure there are some that you can't, like maybe some of the default modules, but yeah, you can basically add them where you run it on multiple, where you have like a checkbox kind of, or you can add it as just one button that you would run one at a time. Or particularly for emails, you can even add it where, like, let's say you click on an email in CRM and it opens up that thread. You can add one like up in the top right. So it's like forward reply button, right? Like trigger custom function to be able to do those. So thought I would just demo this to show that a little reminder PSA that you can do this because I had forgotten until I saw this task.
Exceptionally cool.
Yeah, really nice build.
Job, Lucas and JP. All right, and with that, let's talk about our code share of the week. All righty, this is kind of a cool one, Tyler. So Greg wrote this up, but this is actually, you can search Zoho sign documents via API, and I guess it was Josh and Hunter that were kind of poking around. There's no documentation on saying, can you use an API to go into Zoho Sign and actually search for a particular document? But they happen to just kind of figure it out because they found a search columns parameter in the sample input data from the API page. And with some testing, they found that they actually can search the following fields: the name, the folder name, the owner name, the recipient email, the actual form name, and the create time. So pretty interesting. The search is case insensitive. So I've never heard it called that before. Case insensitive. Sounds,
I've been called that before.
So if you were to type in the word Ash, it would give you Ashley. Even if you had a capital A on it, it would give you Cash. So you basically, it would give you George Washington because, well, it's got Ash in the Washington. So it'll give you some.
Like contains. This is inherently a contains search, which means you need to be a little careful with it, right? Anything that contains that sequence is going to come back in the list. This is really nice though. I mean, like just the ability to search these. The most obvious one that you would want is like that recipient email, right? Like get me all the documents that Brett has signed or that he's been party to. This reminds me of.
That's the safest one.
Yeah, that is the safest one. This definitely reminds me of a while back. We've talked about on the show before, but Zoho Subscriptions has this dirty little habit of making duplicates when new people subscribe. And I think Greg and Josh, mostly Greg, but I think Josh helped too, basically pounded on the Zoho Books API until we got the deduplication button API to work, which is not documented, not listed everywhere, but is a supremely useful API. Really cool. Love when we can find these things. I'll always put the asterisks and say, like, technically Zoho is not guaranteeing that this will work in the long term. There is always the risk of them realizing, we don't really want people to do that, and they turn it off. That's pretty rare, though. Most of the time what happens is they start seeing usage of these things, and then they just add them to the document, right? The kind of public-facing documentation. Yeah, big shout out to the team. Always love to be able to share these little things. I always like to imagine 6 months from now, some person trying to find this on the internet. They've been banging their head into the keyboard for 5 hours and they stumble upon this post, and it saves them a lot of pain and suffering. So future developer, I hope you do find this useful.
And our code shares all live over on Club Z. We are constantly posting little tidbits that we think will be exceptionally helpful to people, that will save you tons of time. Look, a lot of Zoho users, you don't do any coding. That's okay. You hire other people. You hire us. You do it. But there are a lot of people out there that, they've got some good coding skills, and they can make some magic happen on their own in Zoho, which is the beauty of it, is that how customized it can be, how automated it can be, and the things you can do. But we have been posting up code snippets for an exceptionally long period of time, at least one a week. And we've got other people that are throwing them up occasionally, other members throwing them up. So head on over to club.zenatta.com if you're a coder and check out the code share. With that, let's head over to zenatta.com and see what we got going on over there. Well, Tyler, a particularly busy week for you. So I have seen, as everybody will see in a minute here, but Tyler single-handedly did the Zoho Voice full product tutorial, application overview, settings walkthrough, setting up numbers, agents queues, Zoho integrations. This article covers a good chunk of what was in the video that you did and how it all works. But I guess my question for you, my friend, is after the super, super deep dive, spending all this time living with it for a while, where do you stand?
It's really good. It's a really good application. The thing that I think will throw people off, and I'm probably going to do a follow-up video to this on it, is the licensing and pricing. It's just complicated. It's not bad pricing. It's actually can be really good pricing, depending on like how many people you have, how many minutes you're dialing. I mean, if you're using the right licensing, for example, you could have 10 people with phone numbers all under their $49 a month licensing plan. Then you'll have a couple add-on costs of renting the number, which will be like $1 a month, right? So now we're up to like $5.90 per person plus the minutes that they use. But then on that plan, those users can't log into Voice. They can only use it in CRM, Desk, Recruit via the integrated apps, which again, for most people is actually fine, but it's good. It's a really good application. I like the queue system. It all is pretty intuitive to set up. I don't work in the back end of phone systems a ton. And so for me to be able to go in and pretty quickly pick up like, okay, I got this number. This number is going to be for an agent versus this number is going to enter a queue. And then that queue will be round robin between these agents. Like it all comes together pretty nicely. I just think a decent number of people may bounce off it because of the licensing. So yeah, expect a follow-up video on just a deep dive purely on like, how the heck do I even know what this is going to cost me? And which features I'm getting with each plan. But altogether, I was really happy with it. I think that it works nicely. I did learn while recording it, it doesn't use Phone Bridge. It uses its own application to CRM, Desk, Recruit, and Begin, but I kind of like it more. Than the Phone Bridge integrations that are available. So well worth taking a look at. I think, yeah, the one thing is just that the pricing is funky, man. It's really tricky. Like if I were to try to work with a prospect and figure out which plan is right for them, right? It would be a lot harder than if we were talking about a different phone system, which I think is the really only the downside here.
It's kind of interesting because it's the per minute thing throws a lot of people off, I think, because that's an old, antiquated way of doing things, right? I mean, you just don't see things billed per minute at all anymore. So kind of one of those things where I think people go, well, I don't know how many minutes I use. How many minutes do I use? And most people don't know. It's probably not a lot. I mean, the number of minutes they give you is probably more than enough, right? Yeah. It's not that expensive, like you say. So anyway, cool. And we don't think it's based on Twilio. It's their own system, right?
Don't think it's based on Twilio now.
And how about SMS with Zoho Voice? Did you go into that at all?
Yep, you could just turn it on. for any of the numbers. You need to fill out some more forms and kind of go through an approval, which is fine. That's normal. That's most telephony providers are getting tighter about activating SMS. They want to make sure you're not going to use it inappropriately. But yeah, you can activate SMS for your phone numbers and then just use them.
Integrated into the CRM at all? Like those conversations?
Cool. Yes, you do. When you're in the CRM, you do need to have like a Chrome extension or Firefox extension. That's what really makes it work. But that's kind of the same with Ring Central. Like it works a lot better if you have that turned on. But what it does is so you got the phone number field in CRM, and then next to it, you'll have a phone and an SMS icon, and then you could just text them.
Is it logging it into the CRM? Is it logging the conversations? Do we know?
No, I don't think it will log the SMS, but you could set up a quick automation that would do that.
Interesting. Very, very cool. Well, this is a long time coming, and I think you spend a lot of time.
Yeah. 50 minutes, I think, 45, 50 minutes on it. I'll do a second one all about the pricing. Oh, yeah, with the prep is a whole separate thing. We don't need to share how my pain and suffering preparing for these things. But yeah, we'll circle back around on the pricing discussion. That'll be a separate video because it's just complicated. It's its own 20 minutes of going through which plan would be right for different types of people.
Excellent. Well, fantastic job, my friend. So, all right, with that, let's head back over to YouTube for our tip of the week.
Here I am again.
What's this? Serialized tracking. What is going on here? In Zoho Desk using new custom modules. Tyler, you got to stop slacking off, man. I'm telling you. I know.
What's
going on?
Yeah, all right. This is actually something I've been waiting for this for a while. And it's not, you have to customize it, but you now can do it. But a request that I've gotten plenty of times from prospects, clients, Zoho users at large is I'm working inside a desk. I sell serialized items to customers, and I want to log that a ticket is for serial number 12345. And then later, I want to be able to pull a report of how many tickets are going to various serial numbers. That has never been supported inside of Desk. You kind of have this what's it's like the appendix. It's a kind of unnecessary module called products in there that doesn't really do it. And so what I show in this video is essentially how to use the new custom modules functionality in Desk to create like a proper items list and then a proper serialized items list to connect to those, so that you could then actually track a ticket for item number 12345, not just against the general SKU of that item. So we go through creating the modules, linking the tickets to them, how to set up lookups, right? Because you want to link a serialized item to the customer and the contact for that customer. So yeah, all in all, really nice. Lots of ways to use custom modules. Another one would be locations, right? Like a customer may have multiple locations and you want to track a ticket against site A, not site B. Really good. Seems really full featured. The one little weird thing is you can't delete a custom module once you've created it. You have to email Zoho and ask them to do it. So just be intentional as you're getting started, because you will not be able to delete them later. Unless you email Zoho. But yeah, all in all, really nice. They even have it, they rolled it out with lookup pre-filling. So if I pull a contact, I could pull their phone number in automatically without writing code. So yeah, altogether, nice implementation on Zoho's side, one that I've been waiting for a really long time, and one that we're looking forward to using for our clients.
Fantastic. Well, this is not the implementation is custom modules, right? And then then what we've done here, absolutely fantastic. Man, how do you find time to do all these videos between, what you do every day, watering your bamboo, everything else? Is there time?
Early in the morning is when I do them. That's why we got a comment on one of them. It's I don't take it personally. If I think his name was John, he left a comment on the kiosk video. He was like, "Great video, super helpful. You look a little flushed, hope everything's okay." And I do in this video too. It's because a lot of my light for the CRM Zen Show and a lot of content is from a big window here. I like the natural light. But when I record really early in the morning, I don't quite have some of that natural light. So yeah, in this one, I look like I just got a spray tan, but hopefully the video is still useful for everybody.
Oh, man. Fantastic. All right. Great job. And with that, let's get over to our question of the week. And the question of the week is part of our Azaz stuff. And this week, Greg and Landon got together and answered the question, how to utilize custom functions for daily email limits in Zoho CRM's Cadences Studio. Well, there you go. So I guess Samuel Legren was asking a super helpful walkthrough, but waiting for Zoho to introduce this. This raises the question, does Cadence Studio give you an option to limit how many emails are sent per day? Like a drip feature. Maybe you have thousands of leads in your custom view and just 80 of them to be sent per day.
Good question.
It's a great question. You also have limits inside CRM as to how many emails you can send a day anyway. So you would want to do that. So Greg and Landon take you step by step through what needs to be done.
I think the trick here is, so the new Cadences feature, we've got a video on that if anyone hasn't seen it yet. It's a way to kind of schedule out like decision-based outbound. So send email 1, if they open, go down this path. If they click it, go down this path. And yeah, Samuel asked a good question of like, because I kind of showed it in my video from the perspective of a custom view, having that enter into this cadence. The thing is, like, let's say you've got 1,000 really good leads and you've got 5 salespeople. You actually kind of don't want to activate all those leads at the same time, right? Because now you've got, if you had a really great campaign, like 200 email responses come in, now everything's, you get clogged up. So yeah, the team came up with a pretty clever way to kind of manage the rate at which people are going to be entered into this, just to make sure that like you don't overwhelm your sales team just because you did some good marketing. You don't want to create a problem from success.
Fantastic. This is a really in-depth one too. 11 minutes going into this. So super, super, super nice job, guys. And as always, if you just head over to our YouTube channel, that is where we keep all of our videos. Looks like we are just as close to 16,000 subscribers and an angel getting its wing. I think we thought it might happen, but we are just a few subscribers away. And so that angel is going to have to wait till next week. And that's on you, YouTube listeners, because more of you should have subscribed. Okay. So, I mean, you're causing serious harm here. So let's remember that. A lot of people sitting here, anxiety and suffering. But as you can tell from us just talking here, we do put out a lot of videos, and we do that every single week. It is all content on Zoho because we are all things Zoho. That is it. That's all we do here at Zenatta is Zoho. And so we hope you find this content useful. So please head over to our channel and subscribe. And you can find everything you need over there. All right, Tyler. Wow. For 3 news stories, we sure did. We got a little chatty. Must have had high energy.
We did.
Today.
Yeah.
Tina was asking me.
Coffee this morning.
I actually paused the show mid-journey here to run over and grab a cup of coffee. But so we are. Tina asked me, how long does the show go for? I said, well, it depends on how much energy Tyler and I have. If we both have energy, it could go hours. It's crazy. Anyway, hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, if you'd like to talk to someone over at Zenatta about your Zoho instance and troubles you may be having or some help you would like, please head over to Zenatta.com and click on Book a Meeting in that upper right-hand corner.
On the website is also where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, we always appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
That's all I had.